Good evening, Dark City. Welcome to the Permaculture Show. I've been released from my conservatory again, and I'm down here at the Heart and Wellbeing Space in Birmingham City Centre. There's a few guys here. Shout hello, guys. Hi, I'm going to be grabbing some of them and having a chat in a bit. First of all, I've been continuing my my newfound love of foraging, mooching around in the hedgerows. I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago actually about woodruff. I've got excellent. Right, we're back. Yes, where was I? Woodruff. Yeah. So yes, I've got a load of this in the garden. It makes great ground cover because it's quite thick. But I found out a bit about this. It traditionally been steeped in wine, and also, as a friend told me, apple juice. So I steeped a little bit in there, flowers and leaves, overnight. They'd said that it was supposed to be mildly sedative, and it actually is. I was amazed. I couldn't believe it. It was very relaxing. I'm hesitant to mention it really, because I think if I talk about it too much, it might get reclassified as a Class A drug like in a couple of weeks' time. Another herb I've picked up this week, which I think is massively useful, it's got loads of really good health benefits, is lovage, which is a celery substitute. That's a perennial herb, so that's a great one to add to the herb bed. The dandelion champagne's coming on fantastic. It's starting to fizz, so I've got great hopes for that. I'll report back on what that one tastes like. Then a couple of things, particularly in season, sort of foraging-wise at the minute. Jack in the hedge. On a side note, I'm going to get all these images linked up and hopefully chat to the guys, get them linked up to the Dark City website and my website so people can find pictures of these things and really know what I'm talking about here. But it's a common perennial herb in woodland. The leaf's a little bit nettle-like in appearance. It's actually known as, which I quite like, the poor man's mustard. It's kind of has a garlicky, peppery flavour. And yeah, it's good in salads. Good with a nettle soup as well. And you can actually eat the young pods, the flowers, although they're white, and the pods do look very reminiscent to cabbage flowers. But yes, I've got a load of those drying because I spotted them in a friend's garden. She's got loads, so those will be going in the community seed bank. So if anybody wants any of those seeds, yeah, get in touch with me. And the other thing that I wanted to mention this week was rose, dog rose, because they're in flower, and they're a massive. Oh no, the other thing I wanted to mention about Jack in the Hedge, actually. I've written that, my notes are all over the place today. It's going to be off on a tangent. In Europe, I mean, you get it across Europe, it's actually home to 69 species of insect and fungus that use it as a food. Isn't that phenomenal? Just one plant there, 69 species. So it's worth planting for that alone. But yeah, back to rose. So rose, it's excellent for your skin. It's good for preventing infection. It's a good blood purifier. Literally, you know, coming at it from a lazy point of view, you can just get petals in the bath. If you hold them under the running water there, they are actually supposed to be quite good for rheumatic pains as well. You can make an infusion, again, just in hot water, and strain it and apply it several times a day. And yeah, I haven't had that verified first hand, but it's worth a try. And so there's a few other things you can do with that. It's as I say, got cosmetic use, jam you can make from the rose petals. You can also make a vinegar in a good quality white wine, leave that for 2 months with the petals, and then going into autumn there's the hips. So I'm trying some, I don't know if anyone can tell me, I've tried to grow from hips and it doesn't work. So I'm trying cuttings now. I've got a few cuttings from a really strong dog rose shrub, so I'm hoping they'll take. I'll be able to pass those on as well, if I do. And then I just wanted to touch a little bit on this superfood mix that we're making up for Nettlefest. nettle first. We can mix, they put it in soups and stews and that kind of thing. Like nettles in themselves, they contain nitrogen, magnesium, iron, sulfur. They're very high in vitamin C. I mean, there isn't an official definition of a superfood, you know, it's kind of one of those overblown marketing kind of slogans. But really, you know, a superfood, you would think of something that's got a higher level of nutritional density, has fewer calories, a higher fibre content, omega-3 fatty acids, lots of anti-detoxants, plant-based photochemicals, and the ability to yeah, so that's the idea with this superfood mix, really, and using, as I've spoken before, you know, common plants, aka weeds, things that are abundant around us. So the one we're doing, we're putting nettle leaf in there, dandelion leaf, plantain leaf, marjoram, parsley, sage, and lemon balm is the other one. So, yeah, that's the superfood, right? Oh, that was the other thing I found out this week. We're a bit late for this year, but apparently hosta is edible. It's used in Asian cooking. I'll say we're late because it's the early shoots you eat. So before they come up in those lovely fat shoots, before they uncurl, you can get to them before the slugs do. They're supposed to be very nice in salads and stir fries. So I'm going to have a go. Remember that one for next year. And then there was one more plant that I just wanted to mention briefly, which is wood avens, which again is quite common across Europe. Herb bonnet, it's also known as. It has a small yellow flower and a beautiful prickly fruit head afterwards. They're really pretty. And it was widely cultivated as a pot herb in the 16th century. You can use the young leaves, you can cook those. And the root, which I have tried this before, can be used in soups or stews. So you literally sort of dig it up in autumn, dry it out, and then grind it up and use it as a spice. It was used as a substitute for cloves, and it also has a hint of cinnamon. And I think that has got some active ingredients, essential oils, tannins, bitters. It's been used to treat fevers and diarrhea and piles, apparently, and as a gargle for sore throats. Although I wouldn't use the same mix for sore throats as you use to treat your piles. That'd be really bad. And that again was used as an alcoholic drink flavouring to. In fact, I think from most native British plants at some point down the line were used as an alcoholic drink flavouring. I think they just used to make the alcohol and then stick whatever in it. And the other thing I've really been getting into, I don't think I've mentioned this at all yet, is edible flowers, which again, there's just a great deal of flowers, especially our native ones that are edible. So I'll just run through a few. Dandelions, I found out recently, although I've been making the syrup for a while, you can literally just eat the flowers in a salad. Daisy, chive flowers, ramsons, violas and pansies. And also nasturtiums, I think everyone knows, rocket. And other veg flowers, things like kale. I mean, I've got some of those coming into flower now, and they're beautiful colour, buttery colour. So yes, I'm going to get some of those in the salads as well. Right, before I bring some of the guys in, I'm just going to run through, which I think I did briefly before. So I want to talk a little bit about soil, and looking at your soil and working out what kind of soil you've got. I wouldn't say I was an expert myself by any means, but I'm a very keen student, and I've been studying soil, which is a very interesting subject and a very wide subject. So if you want to try and work out what kind of soil you've got, you would literally just take a bowl all there out of your garden. It may be different in different places of your garden, especially obviously if you've got a larger site. So firstly, you want to spit into it, get it into a ball, and then have a look and see if it's got mostly organic matter in. If that's the case, frustrating, instead of me wittering away, I'll get Felipe out. Felipe, sorry to interrupt, do you want to jump in? Oh, I'm just going to bring Felipe in now. Felipe's bought these three. Are you alright on the floor?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds wrong over the radio. Right, well, Felipe, jump in first of all and tell us all about that stuff that you bought today, because that was really interesting.
Yeah, it's called, it's got various names. The main one is called water kefir. I first heard of it as Tibetan mushrooms, even though they're not a mushroom at all. I would just give a bit of a description of what they look like. They look like these kind of semi-transparent sort of grains.
Okay, right, let's go. Felipe, we're back. Sorry, I don't want to demand his attention, but yeah, he's bought this stuff that he's got imported over. Quick, Felipe, I'm desperately trying to fill.
Okay, so
right, go, quick. Right. Oh no, don't. Calm, but you know.
Right, yeah, I was saying about this Tibetan mushrooms. So they're not actually a mushroom. They're like a grain. You can imagine like a semi-transparent, very small, kind of half a centimetre size grain. And what you do is that you grow it in a jar. It's not a mushroom. It's not a vegetable. It's not like a plant. Obviously, it's not an animal. So God knows what it is.
Is it comparable to yeast? Do you think? Because isn't yeast like classed as well, it is living, isn't it? It's classed as a living thing.
Isn't yeast like a fungi? Or is it? I don't know.
I'll find out for next week.
But yeah, apparently, I mean, just to go straight in terms of the medicinal qualities, it's. I mean, if you can look on the internet, it's like countless, tens and tens of different medicinal uses. The main thing is that if you think about like a probiotic, so very good for the good bacteria. Your average probiotic yogurt, for example, has about 3 different bacteria. This one has actually got about 15 different bacteria. So for your internal sort of gut sort of ecosystem, it's absolutely amazing. It's very good for any digestive problems. It's good for if you've got like heartburn or any kind of stomach problems. It's also very, very good for insomnia. It's really helped me with my kind of semi-insomnia thing that I get. I kind of sleep beautifully now. It's also good for lots of other things like apparently for asthma and arthritis and lots of other things. But it's amazing because you actually grow it. What you do is that you grow it in a jar. You have to keep it. You don't need to keep it airtight because it needs to breathe. So it's almost like a pet that you have to feed it every 2 days. You wash it out. Wash it with like mineral water or boiled water or filtered water. And what you do is you sieve it and you keep the liquid, and it's the liquid that you drink. The grains you pour back after you've washed them. You pour back into the jar, you top it up with the filtered water or boiled water, and then you feed it molasses or sort of raw sort of cane sugar, brown sugar, and it grows. It's absolutely rampant. I mean, within about a month, I've managed to fill like a tiny bit, and I've filled up like a whole big jar, and it's just filled up. So now, coming over here to Heart Space, I'm having to get rid of it. So I don't want to throw it away. My mum's had to resort to throwing it away because there's so much of it. But I need to get rid of loads of it.
It's like one of those big horror movies.
Yeah.
It's growing.
Yeah,
it's growing.
Because I kept thinking it reminded me of like the Gremlins. You say, "Oh, don't feed it, after like midnight, or else something weird would happen." But so it's a bit like that. So certain things that you don't you're not meant to. Obviously, not going to suddenly like develop like claws and stuff. But no, it's an amazing, really absolutely amazing thing. And the history of it is that it's come from Tibet, and it was given by a Tibetan monk to Mother Teresa for her to spread around the world. So yeah, it was given to me by my mum, who's come over from Chile. So it was all the rage over there. Yeah.
Nerys, may I ask, is that also known as kombucha?
Kombucha?
Yeah. Someone said today, actually, in the meeting here, that they said they called it kombucha. I didn't realise it was called that.
We've had cultures of it a long time ago now. And it is a really good detoxifier, without any doubt at all. Yeah, it's good for all sorts of things, but that's what I used it for detoxification.
Oh, really? Oh, amazing. Okay.
Oh, that's interesting. I think I might take some then, Felipe.
Right. For the detoxing.
Well, I'm due a pet. My guinea pig's died, so I need a new kind of pet.
You can't stroke it though. But.
Yeah. Well, no, that's true. That's true. But no, that's really interesting because I've been detoxing. So I've been doing salt baths.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah, and Forrest Gump like digging, which doesn't sound like a detox method.
What's that, Forrest? What?
Forrest Gump. You know Forrest Gump? I've been digging like that with the allotment. Keep digging.
Oh,
like the film.
I see, okay.
It's really good therapy.
Oh, really?
Really works,
Wow.
yeah. But another thing we were just chatting about earlier, weren't we? I was interested in that concept of yours of kind of the mother group, the setup you've got going on there, and which we've talked about before about wanting to link up with other groups and kind of spread things out and skill share. It's really interesting. So
yeah. Well, because when I've been developing the idea of the mother garden, I kept thinking about your project, and if you have something kind of settled in the future, or even what you have now, because the idea of it is for them to become hubs. I mean, just a bit of a description. I don't know if you've mentioned anything about what said about the mother gardens.
No.
But just to give a bit of a description of what the idea is within Food Forest Brum, is that mother gardens will be kind of hubs spread about all over the city and beyond. They provide what we do already as Food Forest Brum, but now it's centralised from one place. These will be kind of hubs that will have either space for healing in trees. So if we get a big delivery of trees, we will deliver them to different projects, and they can then, they will also develop their own contacts and their own network with their own communities. And because they'll be part of their own community anyway, more so than they will be able to be. So then they can, provide the trees, they can identify good projects. So then, for a mother garden, you get like different daughter gardens, and the idea is that in time those daughter gardens can then become mother gardens themselves. And the idea is that the flowing thing through this is both plants. So you get trees, self-propagating plants, self-seeding plants, so things that are very easy to propagate, and maybe other things that aren't so easy to propagate, but because we're going to be hopefully running training on how people can propagate, how can you can set up nursery beds, so people were learning that, so we'll be spreading the trees, but as well as the skills, and also the main ethos of it is about mutual aid, so it's about how we can all support each other. So it's not, a thing of certain, the chosen few will become mother gardens, but, the idea is that it's the ethos that we spread, like the mother garden ethos, that people can then, their own, they can share plants and they can get, plants in return. But because it's the permaculture thing, is that that's the underlying, for me, it's the underlying thing that I'm hoping to spread. And like a project like yours, Nerys, would be ideal, because obviously hopefully by then, the plants that we gave you would have, grown at a good point where you can propagate from.
Yeah.
You generally obviously very aware about the good stuff to grow, for all sorts of reasons. And on your permaculture, because the very nature is about linking with communities, which you do obviously really well. So it's like the prime role for that, really.
Yeah, well, we're all linking together with these sort of similar ethoses, is that a word? And the community seed bank that we've started up obviously is, to be used by it. Well, not even just because I've been posting them out now, Felipe. I think I'd done one last time I spoke on air, and I've done another one now.
Another what, sorry?
Post seeds by post.
Oh, really?
People are getting in touch with me, and then I'm listing what we've got in the seed bank. In fact, I've got some because live on air. I think it's Krista. do you want to come and do our exciting seed swap live on air? I thought it'd be a ridiculously silly thing to do, seems as, just to let people know it's happening, we're linking up, we're spreading the seed, and in fact, munch too.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Yellow munch too.
Yeah. So we've got a few here, mostly so they're all Felipe, they're top notch seeds. And I think that's what our biggest concern was. That we're trying to convince people to donate as many organic seeds as possible. Yeah. But as you well know, I think soon they're going to be hard to come by. Well, that's the other reason for us starting the seed bank. Good quality seeds. You're going to put the time and effort into growing. Good quality food. That's where it all comes from. So thank you, much appreciated. Exactly. Well, it's that and getting people to think about saving the seed as well,
of course,
completing
like I said, it's about, when you have got that good quality, it's putting them away and storing them as well. Even if it is just a few, but
exactly. Well, the thing is, the more of us that are doing it, hopefully we can, and I know there's loads of other guys that I've spoke to. Oh, we've only got 15 minutes to go. Oh, what a nightmare. Today, I've been jumping in and out, I don't like, it's not fair. I've got some Jack in the Hedge here, which I was just talking about. I won't go.
I saw your post on it.
Yeah, which is a mustard, it's a perennial herb. It's a native to Europe. They're still drying those, so you're going to need, that's why I'm closed it, you need to take them out and dry them off. But that's good in
salad.
That's what we're
in the process of doing, is making herb boxes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, making herb boxes. And that's why I was sort of picking Winston's brains as well about the herbs. Of how we can grow herbs in the city. And we're going to have herb boxes all along here.
Oh, lovely.
Do the change on the side, but then sort of encourage other businesses to do the same. So we'll provide them, and then if they make us small donations, then we can make more.
Oh, nice one.
Excellent. Well, I've also met a lovely herbal lady. She's over Sturchley Stores, Felipe, Susan, and she makes up things with dandelions and nettles, and they're very much on the wavelength that they want to pass on the skills, which I know is, I think, definitely from our permaculture group is what we want to, it's what we've all talked about. So I'm really hoping we can set some kind of stuff off with her and do some workshops.
I think it's really interesting what you said earlier about it's so important that different groups do come together and share our knowledge. And it was about creating a hub for Birmingham. So it's like when people visit Manchester, Incredible Edible, and someone from Birmingham, they know who from Birmingham, same with us. If we can't help them, we can help. Forest food. It's really important that people just connect and link with each other.
I think
no, so
well, I think a site like this at Heart and Space is so important. I mean, both in terms of your ethos, and because connecting the ethos with the location, so people, like you say, come from other cities, and this is the central point. And the whole thing about projects is that it's so important to have a location that people can come to. And I find when you get, if you have a location that suddenly people gravitate towards it, and then when people come together, that's when you get new kind of things arising. That you get that.
Definitely. I mean, when we moved into this property, and obviously Be the Change was going to be based here, we tried to get next door as well. So
oh, really?
Be the Change as not just a base for us, but a base for people like you as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
And have it like an internet cafe approach. It's not out of the question. It's just not meant to be there, but it's something that nobody needs. We need it.
I think so, definitely.
A head office for all groups, to come together. It's just brilliant, and I'm just so thankful for all the people that I'm meeting, like yourselves. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it is.
Oil. Makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely. Because how long? I know you probably said already. How long have you going on for? Is it?
Been changed.
Yeah, how long?
It started in January 2012.
Right,
And
okay.
it just started just with a group of friends, just really getting together. And then it just grew from there, and it literally grew organically. You know,
Right,
I didn't set out and say, right, we're going to set up a trust, and you know, this is going to happen. It was the group making what the trust is really.
Yeah.
Because we never wanted to be up there saying, this is how it should be, and this is what we want to do. It was literally.
Yeah, well, I thought it was interesting what you were chatting the other week about the fact that you were kind of thinking more in terms of getting a group together as opposed to people who sort of find a piece of land and then go, right, we want to build a community on here now and bring people.
We sort of knocked it on its head really and said, no, we want to build the community first, and then if I can work with you and live with you and everybody's happy, then
exactly.
we can build each other's houses and,
absolutely.
and live together in peace and harmony, because I think we've just experienced lots of eco projects that are going on, and there's so much politics going on because people haven't gelled. The ideas there that they all want to live as a community, but we're all human, aren't we?
Absolutely. And that's the thing that I feel so strongly about. I mean, those having similar experiences. That people can have all these amazing ideas about our utopian visions, but and you can grow your own food and the rest. But the whole thing about it's about the most complicated, the most tricky bit is how we get on as individuals and collectively. And I know of groups that with all the right ideas have been completely destroyed because of sort of human dynamics. So I personally think in the same way that we need to be working on how we can grow food together, is working how we can actually get on together. And there's amazing technologies and resources out there, but it's one of those that we just I think we're reaching a time where we have to start really looking at ourselves and our egos, because I think a lot of these conflicts are because of our own little issues that come up.
But at the same time, it's encouraging people to be self-sustainable as well, because lots of people who come to the group have sort of kept themselves to themselves in a little bubble and are really worried about coming to groups like this. Because of the politics, or people having different ideas. I think this is why this group's so open. That's why I said we can talk about anything. Whether it's spirituality, whether it's health, whether it's the banking system, whether it's whatever it is. It's just even people who are not interested in that particular topic, then they're learning from it as well. Meeting somebody or finding something out that you wouldn't have known before you come. It's great. It's I'm really thankful, really.
Yeah, well, it's I think it's a fantastic thing from the point of view that a lot of people who might be looking at an alternative way of life or an alternative way of thinking might not have anyone around them necessarily. A lot of people have trouble conveying this to their family or having anyone in their family that understands, and even sort of close friends or peers,
So it's easy for people just to shut themselves off because they've just had enough. Really.
Absolutely.
So it's just encouraging those people that there is groups out there that do care and are here really for that support.
Because I think it can be quite, from personal experience, quite incredibly painful when and there's a lot of people out there that I know of that are struggling because of what's going on in the world, and if you feel isolated, then that's probably the worst thing, because I guess you can often feel like the whole weight of what's going on in the world on your shoulders. And that's why it's just so amazingly important to find a group of people, or even one person that you can share that with. And the main thing is to have that feeling that you're not on your own, because that's
a lot of people. They're finding like-minded people through the internet, through Facebook,
of course,
people post. But I think for me personally, it's people getting back that connection, that human contact, really. Definitely. When we leave, we give each other a hug, and so it's okay, to support each other and.
Well, it is. I know it's been said on all the shows on Dark City many times. You know, it's the connection, and it puts me in mind. It's like the neurons of the brain, and that's what people are like the flower of life. When they put that in the people on the earth it is exactly the same thing. And like the mycorrhizal fungi again under the ground, it is like the neuron of the earth itself. You know, so.
And that's the beauty of it, is that when you look at the brain, you don't see individual neurons, you see a whole system.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing, is that we need to start developing ourselves as almost a collective, which is already there, as a human collective unconscious. But it's about materialising that and actually developing that so we do become.
Because everything's possible. I think everything's possible if you really put your mind to it, really,
exactly.
Focus on it, and, manifest it,
Well, it is true. It's it's an amazing concept, really, when you think something becomes true, basically, when enough people believe it is true. I mean, that's where you get the belief in the monetary system and everything. It's only because enough people believe money's got value that
exactly.
it exists.
Absolutely.
So, it's about, get me pondering again. I'm going into philosopher mode now.
But I think that's the ultimate aim, isn't it? That we can be self-sustainable, we are living in a moneyless society, and we can share. But at the moment, we are working in the system, unfortunately, and at this time, at this moment, that's what we've got to do. But then we've got bigger plans and how we can change it. At the moment, just small changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
interesting what you're saying, Reese, about the whole thing about believing that it can happen, because the opposite is very much the case. Is the belief, which is completely cultivated in our system, is the belief that there is no alternative, that we can't have a better society because we are individually, we are all individualistic and selfish. That's human nature. So that is just completely